Guys, before you go on to this clip, please don't forget to press the subscribe button for more content like this. We post all our clips on this channel from the podcast. I know you're going to enjoy this quite a lot. There was something unique about the Mauryan Empire. It was known as a great empire. And although the word great is whatever, but like I'm trying to understand what is so special about the Mauryan Empire.
Well, it's the first historical empire for which we have a lot of evidence,
Okay.
archaeological, textual, and so on. So there may have been empires before. Even, for example, the Namdas also had an empire, not as large, but it was an empire. But it's very, very sketchy. So what we know about it actually comes from their enemies who replaced them, the Mauryas.
Right, okay.
There are legends about, from our epics, for example, that, they may have been great kings. Raja Bharat, who may have conquered in Jambu Dvipa and so on. But other than mention in the text, I cannot say anything very definitive about it. But with the Mauryas, what happens, they are the first proper empire for which we definitely know. And there are, there's Megasthenes who comes, for example.
Right.
So there is external
Validation
and evidence for it. So we know definitely these guys existed. They had a bunch of emperors. We have some description of the empire. We have the Arthashastra, which gives some flavor of how that empire may have been run. This is a manual, so I'm not saying that the actual empire may not have run exactly like this. But nevertheless, it provides some flavor of the kind of thinking that the prime minister of that state had.
Right. And so this oft seen nostalgia towards the golden age of India, is that historically rightfully placed around this time? Is it like, if I were to look back at the Mauryan Empire, is that part of the golden age of India? Was it very rich?
I am very careful about using the word golden age,
Right.
because different parts of India flourished at different points for different reasons. So India has a long history with many golden ages. You can say the Harappan period was also sort of golden age. You had this period under the Mauryas. That different places may have had. For example, Agra's golden age was under the Mughals.
Right.
Southern India had a golden age under Krishnadevaraya and the Vijayanagar Empire.
Right.
Bengal may have had a golden age under the Palas and the Sens, and so on and so forth. So we have to be a little careful about the use of this word golden age,
Right.
because it gives the impression that
There was one.
there was one golden age, and so we have a long cyclical history. With all kinds of things happening at different points in time.
And is this empire particularly rich? Is the Mauryan Empire, is there something to look at in the Mauryan Empire that
Well,
stands
certainly
out?
it was very big.
Okay,
So
yes, fair.
it was, it was much bigger than, for example, the Republic of India.
Oh, right.
Yes. So you have to remember that other than the very tip of southern India, everything else in the subcontinent, not just India, but what is now Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, even parts of eastern Iran were part of this empire. It was a massive empire. So it was significantly bigger than modern India. And an empire of that size remained in play for 3 generations. Of course, with Ashoka at the end of his life, it had already begun to fall apart. But still, for 3 generations, this rather massive empire held together.
The size of a modern country and more, right?
Yes,
Like,
much
that's the
bigger
size.
than India. It would have been the biggest empire on the planet at its height.
Fair.
And Alexander's empire, for example, didn't last at all, because he conquered it and then on his way back he died.
Right.
So his empire was almost immediately carved up between his generals. So the Alexandrian Empire didn't exist it existed for just a few years and wasn't properly administered as such, as a single unit. And his contemporaries in China as well, that was the time that China, just a little bit later, China had its first empire as well. It was smaller. In fact, modern China is much, much bigger than the first empire of China. Whereas modern India is smaller than the first empire of
Very
India.
interesting. And I would think, this would be my guess, given what I have understood or what I've read a little bit, right? That a great degree of this huge empire that came to be came from the smarts of one man, right? Maybe it's an over
Two men.
Two men.
Yeah.
So him and Chandragupta both.
Yes,
They're
yes.
co-founders of sorts.
They are co-founders. I think, Chandragupta must have been a remarkable man. Because not only, I mean, he was empire, and he must have been the military brains, the inspirational figure.
Right.
I mean, his guru may have been Chanakya and may have provided him the intellectual framework, but a great empire requires personality, character, inspiration, genius,
Leadership.
military leadership. All of those things probably came from Chandragupta Maurya. So it is almost certainly, I mean, we don't know very much exactly, but it was almost certainly a very close relationship between the two.
Right. And wasn't Chanakya also a prime minister for Bindusara?
We don't know all these details.
Acha.
Do remember that Chanakya was significantly older than Chandragupta. So he may have carried on for a little while into Bindusara, but certainly would not for much longer.
Guys, if you're interested in more content like this where it actually makes you think and explore how you think inside your head, dude, subscribe, man.